Alright, our next steps take us up here into the boat. We're going to take up all the bracketry for the shift cable. This one coming from the throttle, and this one going down to the drive, the intermediate and the primary shift cables. So we're going to take off the cotter pin here, cotter pin that holds in the adjustment, barrel trunnion right here, and then a nut back here. I mean a bolt back here. If you don't have spare cotter pins or new cotter pins, make sure you hang on to these. But probably best to use some new ones. There's a washer here. Make sure you hang on to that. And that releases the front. Back here on the back is another cotter. It retains the barrel. Okay, with the rear cotter pin free, the trunnion's free, and this intermediate cable can come off. Now back here, there's the shift bellows. There's, don't know how well you can see that. There's a zip tie that keeps the top of the shift bellows on, and also a little plastic cap in the very end. It's a round plastic, looks kind of like a washer. Make sure you hold on to that too. And don't forget also, this zip tie down at the bottom is what holds the bellows to the bigger shift guide or cable guide tube. So that has to be cut also. And there's the zip tie. Once that's cut, then this bellows should come off pretty easy. And once you cut the bigger zip tie, you can slide the whole bellows forward and get at the front zip tie here, and the little clip in the end a little bit easier. Okay, with that big zip tie off, everything slid forward. Clip this smaller zip tie. Now carefully peel back the front of the bellows, and then this little plastic retainer clip that's in the front can come out. Make sure. All right, so once those things are off, this bellows can slide forward off the intermediate cable. And this is probably what gave you so much trouble with your OMC in the first place. And just go ahead and slide it off the end here. And keep that somewhere safe. Okay, this bolt here on the back is a 3/8. Go ahead and loosen that up. You may not want to take it completely off, but just loosen it enough to where this cable can slide out of the bracket. It's loose enough for now. Now up here on the front, there's a cotter pin that holds the front of the cable onto its bracket. Once you get that cotter pin free, hang on to this washer. This will want to fall down into your bilge. And if you can, just slide this to where you can get it off of the little pin where it rides. Alright, once this bracket's loose enough, you can kind of slide the shifter plate forward to get some clearance, so you're moving this thinner part through. Get that up, and now should be able to slide that cable off the shifter plate. Now this is the shifter cable that actually comes from the throttle, and then this one with the barrel trunnion is the one that goes down to your drive, the intermediate cable. So just keep that in mind. This one's going to attach to the top of the shifter plate. And you can hear the ESA clicking there. We'll deal with that later. Alright, so back on the intermediate cable, the little set screws here at the top are what hold this cable end onto it. So loosen those just enough Get it to slide off the end of the cable core. Then down here, there's a jam nut. Once that's loosened, this should slide off the end of the actual intermediate cable that's behind it. So once this jam nut is loose, move it forward, and this adjustment rod will unscrew from the cable casing. Slide that right off the cable core. Keep that because you're going to use it again. Keep it with this cable end that we took off. So now everything's free, so that the intermediate cable should be able to slide down through the transom, and the old bell housing can come off. Alright, so now down on the transom, on the bell housing, I'm going to get a nice long flathead screwdriver and take off the bellows clamp. It can be kind of hard to get to. Just going to loosen up the clamp for the U-joint bellows first. Now pay attention, there might be some clips that go up underneath these clamps. Those are for anti-corrosion, so hang on to them. Then down here a little bit lower, clamp for the exhaust bellows, if you've still got one on there. Loosen up that clamp so that everything can come off. Okay, once your clamps are loosened for your bellows on your U-joint and also on the exhaust, and lift up the bell housing like this to get at the water hose. You can take this clamp off and remove it, but since we're only going to use about 4 inches of this hose anyway, it's not really necessary to keep it, so I'm just going to cut it off rather than trying to wrestle around and get at the clamp, which is facing the wrong way. Once that's free, ready for the next step. Alright, next step is to get these 1/2 inch Allen bolts out of each side of the bell housing. And they can be kind of sticky, so I've already got this one started. Through the magic of YouTube, we'll speed this up. Okay. There's that one. Okay, now, same thing on the other side. Right, now that those 2 bolts are out, take the bell housing out. Plastic washers are falling free. Now, my bellows came right off. If yours doesn't, you might have to peel it loose. Now there's a ground wire attached to the top here. Come around my left side, you can see it. Right here. And it's attached up underneath, so we'll want to get that out and attach it again because it's for anti-corrosion. And then back here, this clip is what goes under the clamp. Make sure those get reattached when you put the new bell housing on. Okay, this is the ground wire. On mine, it's attached by a little 7/16 bolt. So we want to hang on to that. Depending on your body of water, ours is a lot of alkaline. It's at Lake Mead, so there's a lot of scale around all the bolts and nuts. So once that breaks loose, you can find out what actual tool fits it. There we go. And then that's going to attach to the new bell housing. Okay, so with the ground wire loose, bolts out, there's nothing holding it to the boat now but the intermediate shift cable. Looks like we got lucky. Mine's going to come out pretty easily. And there's the end. And here is the old OMC bell housing free of the boat.